You're driving through Louisiana, and the road just starts disappearing underwater. Behind you, a town where 8 murders are still unsolved. Ahead, an island that's actually vanishing into the Gulf. 8 towns. Stopping might be the worst decision you make in any of them. Number 8. Jennings, Louisiana. 8 women, 4 years. Every one of them turns up dead in the swamps and canals ringing Jennings, Louisiana, a town of about 10,000 people, between 2005 and 2009. 20 years later, a 14-agency federal task force has produced exactly 0 convictions. I went back through the court records and local reporting on this one, and the deeper you go, the stranger it gets. All 8 victims knew each other, and several worked as confidential informants for the same sheriff's office that spent 2 decades failing to close their cases. New evidence surfaced in 2025, pointing at corruption inside the parish jail. Nobody wants to call it a cover-up, but after 20 years without a single conviction, you can understand why people keep asking. Here's the road out of town at night. 2 lanes, cypress pressing in on both sides, water so still it looks solid. That's where 4 of the 8 turned up. Not hidden, left in plain sight, like whoever did it wasn't losing sleep over getting caught. If you're driving through Jefferson Davis Parish after dark, that's not folklore keeping people off these back roads. That's a body count, with a badge somewhere near it. And Jennings isn't even the town with the worst crime numbers in this state. That title belongs to a place a third its size. Number 7. Marksville, Louisiana. If Jennings has a body count with a badge attached, Marksville skipped the subtlety entirely. Highest violent crime rate per capita of any town in the state, packed into a population under 5,000. Here's the detail that stuck with me. The one thing keeping the local economy standing is a casino down the road, Louisiana's very first land-based one. Meanwhile, the police force here has landed in more headlines than it has arrests to show for it. You're driving through at night, quiet streets, one lit-up casino sign glowing in the distance, and a police department locals talk about very carefully. If you're the kind of driver who slows down for local law enforcement in small Louisiana towns, Marksville is exactly why. And the next stop on this list isn't dangerous because of what happens inside the fence. It's dangerous because of who's inside it. Number 6. St. Francisville, Louisiana. St. Francisville is the fence Marksville was talking about. Population 1,500, sitting 22 miles from the largest maximum security prison in the country. 6,000 inmates, death row included, wrapped on 3 sides by swamp and the Mississippi River, so escape is basically theoretical. In 1999, 6 inmates armed with homemade weapons took 3 officers hostage during a breakout attempt inside the prison. One of them, Captain David Knapp's, didn't make it home. I wasn't expecting the road there to matter as much as the prison itself, but it does. It runs past an unmarked gravel turnoff to a ferry most of the parish doesn't even know exists, because it's built for prison staff, not visitors. Imagine pulling over on that stretch after dark to check a flat tire. No cell signal, nothing but tree line and a road that leads nowhere, except a prison gate. Locals call it a quiet town. Sure, quiet's one word for it. The next town on this list has the single scariest name in the entire state, and somehow, it's the safest place on this whole video. Number 5. Transylvania, Louisiana. Yeah, it's a real town. Named after a university in Kentucky, not the actual Transylvania, which is almost more disappointing than if it had been on purpose. Population sits around 500, and the water tower has a bat painted on it because someone, at some point, fully committed to the bit. This is the one that stuck with me for a different reason. There used to be a vampire-themed general store and a restaurant leaning into the name. Both closed. The elementary school shut down 2 decades ago and just sits there, abandoned, which is genuinely the creepiest thing about the entire place. You roll through on a random Tuesday, and there's a water tower with fangs on it, a boarded-up gift shop, and absolutely nothing else happening. No count, no castle, no reason to lock your doors. Turns out the scariest name in Louisiana belongs to the town with the least going on. Every Halloween tourist who showed up hoping for more figured that out the hard way. Next up, the opposite problem, a town with a completely normal name and a legend that actually delivers. Number 4, Swallie, Louisiana. Swallie doesn't need a gimmick. Population's a little over 1,600 and just outside town. near a stretch of water called Loring Lake. Locals have been telling the same story for generations. A woman drowned her child there. And on nights with a full moon, you can still hear crying carried across the water. I'll be honest, I figured this one was made up until I found how far back the reports actually go. Nobody's proven it, nobody's really tried. This part of Louisiana runs on stories passed down at kitchen tables, not police reports. And Loring Lake has been on that list longer than anyone currently living can remember. If you pulled off the highway at night because you thought you heard something near the water, you didn't stop for gas. You stopped because you weren't sure you imagined it. Most legends fade after a generation or two. This one's still getting told, exactly the same way it always has. The next town on this list isn't fading into legend. It's just fading, period. Number 3, Waterproof, Louisiana. Waterproof got its name because it sat just high enough to survive floods before the levee system existed. The irony? It's not struggling because of floods anymore. It's struggling because almost everything else disappeared first. I honestly expected that stat to be exaggerated, until I checked it myself. Population's under 600 and dropping every year. Back in 1990, the town had 2 gas stations and 2 banks. Today, good luck finding either. What it does still have, right on the same highway, is its own detention center, most recently used to hold undocumented immigrants. Watch your fuel gauge on Highway 65 outside Waterproof. The last station you passed was 15 minutes ago, and the next one might not exist at all. Up next, a town that didn't dry up. It got poisoned instead. Number 2, Mossville, Louisiana. Mossville was founded in 1790 by formerly enslaved people, making it one of the oldest free black communities in the American South. Then a South African chemical company called Zwolle built one of the largest petrochemical complexes in the country, right next door. Today, most of the community is gone, and there's no official population count left to even put on screen because the town isn't recognized as its own census area anymore. The number that got me: dioxin levels in residents' blood, 3 times the national average. Zwole's answer was a buyout program it called the most generous in history. As of late 2025, the company sat back down with a handful of residents who'd refused those offers, and then walked away again. They're stuck now, owning land nobody will buy, next to a plant that's still running. You drive past what used to be a neighborhood, a grid of empty streets, overgrown lots, a few houses standing next to a chemical complex the size of a small city, still venting into the same air everyone's still breathing. Zwolle calls it a legacy. The people who used to live there call it what it actually is: erased, slowly, on purpose. The last stop on this list isn't disappearing because of a company. It's disappearing because of the ocean. Number 1, Grand Isle, Louisiana. Grand Isle is the last inhabited barrier island in Louisiana, about 1,000 year-round residents, and the state is actively losing the fight to keep it that way. One road gets you there. Just one. Louisiana Highway 1. This is the one that surprised me the most, researching this list. During any real storm, that road floods and strands whoever's still on it. No detour, no shortcut, nowhere to go, but back the way that's already underwater. Hurricane Ida hit in 2021 and took out close to half the homes on the island. It wasn't the first storm to do that kind of damage, and it won't be the last. The land itself is disappearing under rising seas, faster than almost anywhere else in the country. Here's the last stretch of Highway 1. Water creeping up both sides of the road, houses on stilts getting smaller in the rear view, and the sudden realization that turning around might already not be an option. Grand Isle isn't cursed. It isn't haunted. It's just running out of time, on a road that's running out right along with it.